Welcome back to another Minecraft update video where we go over the latest pre-releases for 1.19.3. It should also be mentioned that the latest Minecraft launcher forgets the resolution of the game when you launch it, so if you get a smaller window like this when you start up the game, there is a bug in the launcher and have no idea when it will be fixed. This makes it awkward for me to resize the game correctly on my system, which is why the bottom of the screen is cut off. Let's start with pre-release 2, where you can now ignite a creeper using a fire charge by right-clicking on it. This is of course a similar mechanic to that of the flint and steel. This has been turned into a tag list, which is creeper igniters. This means if you wanted to customize the game and add extra items to that list, they would also do the same thing and ignite a creeper. When it comes to accessibility and you're using the tab button to go through all of the options, some of these of course have tooltips, and now these will be correctly positioned on the screen, making it easier to read when you tab through all of the options. And of course the bug that I mentioned at the beginning becomes an issue right now. So let's go ahead and use a little zoom. So if ever you've tried to locate a structure that might be far away, you might have noticed that the game can hang for a considerable amount of time. This has supposedly been optimized, and that seemed to be a pretty good benchmark as it found the Woodland Mansion pretty quick. But if like me you've used this command a lot in the past, you'll know sometimes it really can hang for some time. If you have interacted with bees in a lot of this game, you'll know that there are certain blocks, and many more than the ones that I've put down here, that their pathfinding disagrees with and that they would get stuck on top of. That's been fixed, so now they can navigate over these blocks. And last of all, for pre-release 2, villagers are now more likely to close a door after they've navigated through it. Except for you, buddy. You left this one open. And then you left it open again. And I just noticed this part of the terrain here did actually generate like that. Wow, that's quite an oddity. And now we move on to pre-release number 3. First of all, the Vex will now correctly render an item in its offhand rather than in its main hand, and its hitbox has been adjusted again to match the model a little better, and its eyes are correctly aligned. And you may or may not remember, but back in 1.14, all of the textures in the game were revised, although I say all of them. One of them that have been forgotten about until now is the knowledge book button right here. You can see it matches the book texture at last. And just for a quick comparison, you can see the new texture on the left and the old one on the right. There was something with the narrator feature that was overlooked in this game, and we are about to hear it in action. Yeah, I'm actually in peaceful mode right now. This might take a moment.
Xisuma was pricked to death.
That's right, the narrator will now narrate your death message.
Xisuma was killed by intentional game design.
Well, you can forget all these theories about how my name is pronounced. According to the narrator, it's Xisuma. Now, unfortunately, this next change is hard to showcase because my system is rather beefy, but if you have a lot of entities bumping into each other, like you see here, it can hurt your FPS. We probably all know this. In fact, there is a way that I can demonstrate this. Okay, it took 1,200 cows, but now the game is noticeably shaky as it gets closer to 30 FPS. What's crazy about this is that entity collision was run on the rendering thread. That's the part of the game that renders the visuals you see on your screen. So going forth from here, if ever you have a bunch of entities crammed together in a smaller location, hopefully your FPS will be significantly improved. And you know I had to do it right. Let them free! Oh dear. That also brings my FPS above 60 again. Amusing. Now, across these two pre-releases, there are also two minor changes to the 1.20 content. If you are on a camel, you should be out of reach of certain mobs. A wither skeleton was one of those that could attack the player. As you'll see now that I'm in survival mode, it can no longer reach me. Also on this list of mobs was a hoglin, which is even lower than the player. Yet as you'll see here, it's able to attack me. The other change was related to the bamboo and strip bamboo blocks top texture, which was rotated the opposite away from what it is now. As you can see, it aligns with how it appears on a fence post now. And the final change we're going to talk about relates to this feature. If you didn't see my last snapshot video, it is a must watch to understand how this magic is possible. Now in that video, we had a data pack that meant when I broke one of these heads, it would retain the information about the audio that it plays when placed on top of a note block. And the change here, or the fix, is rather simple. You're no longer going to need that data pack because when broken, these blocks are going to remember the audio data that's attached to it. This will also apply to using control middle click as well. This will now copy the MBT data across with it, and that will include the sound information. So lastly, the planned release date is still December the 6th for this update, and here on the channel I'll make a video recapping what's in 1.19.3, a great reason to subscribe, and if you're looking for more content to watch then please do go and check out my Minecraft discussions playlist. It will be linked in the description box below. While you're down there, leave a like, thanks for supporting the channel, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye bye!